Alright, art house film goers, a horror movie for you, finally. Alright, guys, gals, and everything in between. Crimson Peak is directed by Guillermo Del Toro, the man behind the Hellboy series, Pacific Rim, all of those fun movies. And he brings us this new film, Crimson Peak. It's, in summary, a man and a woman get married. And she's trying to be a novelist, and he's an inventor, and they're trying to get by, and they live with his sister, and she starts to see some weird things that go bump in the night. This film, if you watch the trailer, you would think this is an absolute horror movie bonanza at its finest, and it's not. What this film is a romance drama mixed with a murder suspense film that occasionally has moments of Hitchcockian elements that are just kind of like, hey, I'm here. Not enough to be called a Hitchcockian thriller, but enough that it's like you can kind of catch on. Mostly a romance film that occasionally some ghosts are there. Now, I'm not going to spoil anything about the movie in case you want to see it. I am reviewing this film a little bit late, so I might get a little more spoilery than you intended, but essentially, the ghosts are barely in the movie, and they have virtually nothing to do with the plot. Was theorizing on the way home from the theater about it, and it did have some moments that I sat there and I was like, oh, yeah, well, I guess the ghosts do make sense in that sense. But other than that, they really don't service the plot. The real plot is the love story between Tom Hiddleston and that chick from Alice in Wonderland. They both do great in the movie. Jessica Chastain is amazing in it, and she absolutely carries her role, and when she wants to be creepy, oh, she's creepy. I find it more terrifying of a human being that's just nuts than I do the paranormal stuff any day. Now, being said, when the ghost stuff does happen, I'm crapping my pants. It's great. But, as I said, if a casual moviegoer is going into this film, they are not going to have the same appreciation for it that someone who appreciates a lot more movies, sees a lot more movies, they're willing to appreciate the artsy films. This is the Drive of haunted house movies. If that sounds appealing to you, this movie's for you and you're gonna like it. Personally, Drive is one of my favorite films of the year it came out, and I really liked this movie. This film is good, but I do feel like certain elements are out of place. There's a couple pacing issues. The film really does a great job setting up the world, and it doesn't really deliver throughout the middle. And then at the very end, it's awesome. And that's where you notice a lot of the Hitchcockian elements. Now, honestly, if this film was called Crimson Peak, and you cut out all the ghost stuff, then all of a sudden, she gets married to Tom Hiddleston, and there's this Hitchcockian thriller element of maybe someone's not necessarily a good person, and trying to get out of that area where you cannot necessarily get out of. And that would have been such a better movie, if you ask me, because that's what this movie was trying to be. He really wanted to tell a ghost story, but he couldn't really figure out how to make it fit in the world that he had set up for himself. Crimson Peak is a good movie. I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with it. It is a beautiful movie, looks gorgeous. It's one of the best filmed movies I've seen in a while. The creature design is fantastic. It creeped me out to no end. There was one segment with like a child, and then a hallway scene. Oh my god, it creeped me out. I was like, ugh. It made me jump at shadows at home. And when I'm looking around thinking I'm seeing shadows move at home, then I know the film has done its job. So the movie did its job and I really enjoyed it. I felt like they rushed the ending a little bit, but granted, the ending was amazing. And it was awesome and I loved it, and Tom Hiddleston was great. Chick from Alice in Wonderland was great. Jessica Chastain was horrifying. Terrifying and horrifying. Torrifying, my new word. I enjoyed it, and Charlie Hunnam was in the movie. And a couple actors from The Strain were in it, and they were good in the few spots they were in. And everyone delivered. Everyone came and brought their A game. Guillermo del Toro does great once again, and he creeped me out to the core. I enjoyed this movie. I could watch this again. I don't think this should make it on like a playlist for Halloween movies or anything, but I do feel like this is a good movie that film aficionados can appreciate. It was made for us. Crimson Peak is great at a discount screening. Okay, so what did you guys, gals, and everything in between think of Crimson Peak? Are you gonna go see it now that I've maybe convinced you? Don't forget to like and subscribe. Got plenty more videos coming to you.